Welcome to the Wingman Show. My name is Drew Brown, and my wingman, my man, the number one guy I know, Dr. Paul Thompson. What's up, brother? Welcome to the Wingman Show, where we're floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you two badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingman Show. My name is Commander Drew Brown. My wingman, my friend, the guy who always watches my six, is my main man, Dr. Paul. How are you, Dr. Paul? How you doing?
Well, Commander Drew, it's good to see you again. I see a unusual picture. I didn't know Virgin Voyages has their own air force. They got weird looking airplanes that grow winglets when they turn. Why is that?
It's called the modern A6 Intruder and the modern A7 Corsair. The planes that you and I've flown, they have them now on Brilliant Lady. I am on Brilliant Lady right now with Virgin Voyages, and we're on our way home, actually, Dr. Paul.
Where was your last port of call?
Well, we just left Cayman Islands, where they have Stingray City, where those big stingrays are in the water and you can walk up to them and actually hold them. But we also went to your hometown, or where you come from, your roots, Jamaica. We went to Ocho Rios. We went to Turks and Caicos. But a great place we stayed overnight was in Colombia. And Katrina had a friend there that she knew, and she wrote, and they made reservations for us at this excellent Colombian restaurant where they had music and food. It was outstanding. And I do want to say thank you to Virgin Voyages once again for allowing the Wingman Show to be on your ship and to do our podcast. It's the greatest cruise line in the world, Dr. Paul.
Well, you look like you've had a lot of fun with them. You've seen people that you've seen before, and didn't you say you've met somebody that that knows a good friend of ours?
Somebody that knew Keith. Yes, I did meet somebody, and that was amazing. I couldn't believe it. And he also knows Albert Glenn, our superstar. You know that, Dr. Paul.
Well, yes, Albert Glenn is a superstar around the world now. Now it's official.
That now it's official. All right, well, let's start this puppy off with a good quote, and I love this one. If you can laugh, you can get by. Once again, if you can laugh, you can get by. And that was by Mel Brooks. And I truly believe that laughter is the cure to cancer. I think if people laugh, they just become healthier and better. And Mel Brooks, remember him? He did Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles. You remember those movies?
Yeah, I remember him very well. Young Frankenstein was a spoof. He's a comedian. Very, very funny. He has maybe you call it dark humor, but I really remember Blazing Saddles. That came out in like 74. You couldn't put anything on TV or in the movies like that today, but it was it was memorable with A-list actors and great comedians.
You remember when Mongo knocked out the horse? Because
Yes.
that's a core memory. I'll never forget that.
Yeah. The football player was it Alex Karras was his name?
Alex Karras, yes.
Yeah, Alex Karras. Yeah. He was in the movie. He knocks out the horse. The horse said something, or it was too slow, or something like that.
All right, well, let's start our show. Dr. Paul, this is really, really an amazing subject. What's something the next generation will never understand about this one? What a question. Well, that we were the last ones to live with mystery. How about that? We had to wait for photos, wonder about answers, sit in silence. Now everything's instant. But mystery gave life magic, Dr. Paul, and sometimes not knowing was the best part. You know something, Doc? When we asked that question, what's something the next generation will never understand? I expected a lot of answers like technology, hard work, patience. But the answer that really stayed with me was mystery. We were the last generation that actually had to wait. What do you think about that, Paul?
Well, Commander Duke, yeah, that's waiting was an empty time. We waited for photos to get developed. Pictures, people used to take pictures. We waited for letters to arrive in the mail. We waited for answers to questions. And in that waiting, our minds had some room to wander, don't you think?
I definitely think so. Hey, Doc, do you remember? Let me ask you this question. What was the most important ship on our aircraft carriers, no matter what carrier you were on? The cod was the most important plane on that aircraft carrier because you're right. It brought the mail. And remember, we used to have to wait for the mail. Let me tell you a quick story. One time, my daughter Taryn, Lori wrote me and she said that she cut her arm and she needed a stitch or two. I freaked out. I had to wait because I wrote right back and I said, I need to see a drawing exactly how big that cut was. Because in my mind, it was half her arm. Well, it wasn't at all. But I remember having to wait a week or maybe 2 weeks for that answer to come back.
Well, that was pretty good if it was 2 weeks. For me, it was more like a month. We didn't have instant communication. Most of the letters were dated like a month before I received them. Do you remember ever having mail go over the side?
Yes, a tomcat once turned in the wrong direction and blew one of those mailbags over the side of the ship. And I'm telling you, that pilot was we were on him for the rest of the cruise. He was not in good standings on that aircraft carrier. And how about now? I bet you they FaceTime home, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, they can do that. What's a
Uh,
FaceTime?
Well, that would have turned 9 months a lot shorter for me. But there was nothing like getting back home after not seeing your family for that long. If you went on a trip, you didn't post it. You described it later. You let people imagine it. You let it live in their heads. If someone didn't call you back, you didn't spiral. Guess what you did? You just waited, didn't you, Dr. Paul?
Yeah, you just waited and things were quiet and silence was normal. It was kind of space. You had time to think, especially at sea. You had a lot of time to think, you had time to feel things, and you miss things. You miss people, you miss your family, like you said. I'm sure you experienced that a lot, Mr. Drew.
I sure did. But mystery gave life texture, Paul. You didn't know how the movie ended until it ended. You didn't know the answer unless someone searched for it or asked someone older. And sometimes you never got the answer. And somehow that was okay, Paul.
Yeah. Well, sometimes not knowing is the best part. Just knowing keeps your curiosity alive, maybe keeps hope alive, teaches you patience and a little humility.
Keep hope alive. I remember Jesse saying that.
Yes.
Well, today everything's instant answers, instant validation, instant reactions. But instant doesn't always mean meaningful, Paul. It just doesn't.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes the more answers you have, the more anxious we seem to be. Our friend Ace, AI, artificial intelligence, now shoots out answers quicker than we can process them. So we don't have that mystery of wondering. Now the answers come really, really quick because mystery taught us trust, the trust in time, trust in people, and trust that not everything needs to be solved right now. Don't you think?
Yeah, actually, we did. We learned resilience by waiting for the phone to ring, waiting to hear back, waiting to find out who we were going to become. And in that waiting, we actually grew into ourselves, Paul. We just did.
Yeah. Yeah. But here's the thing, the next generation, younger people, they didn't lose mystery because they were weak or lacked anything. They lost it because the world removed it. Everything moves quicker.
Well, let me ask you this. The real question isn't who's better. It's what do we reintroduce? What do you think we should reintroduce, Dr. Paul, to these kids and to the society today?
Well, maybe we should reintroduce patience, having patience, because we normalize silence. Uh, I think the martial arts are very good for that, especially old time martial arts introduced to children when they're young, and that you can practice all your life if you want to. Slow breathing helps you with slowing your breathing. Slow down a bit. Don't burn yourself out. So maybe we normalize silence. Maybe we stop filling every moment with some kind of noise. when we just take the time to breathe.
All right, everybody out there, if you can hear us, here's the gouge on this. Why don't you try turning something off tonight? Don't look something up right away. Sit in the quiet a little longer than feels comfortable. Because mystery didn't make life harder, it made life magical. And sometimes not knowing was the point. Well, I'd like to celebrate somebody, Dick Van Dyke. Dr. Paul, he's turning 100 years old and he's still popping. He's amazing. You know, he's an American actor. He rose to fame as a performer, first on radio and then live theater, earning a Tony Award in 1961, believe it or not, for the best actor in a musical. He was in Bye Bye Birdie on Broadway. He became best known for his television sitcom, which I love, The Dick Van Dyke Show. And believe it or not, him and Mary Tyler Moore, they never slept in the same bed. They actually slept in twin beds in their bedroom. And during the series, he also established a career in acting in films such as Bye Bye Birdie, Mary Poppins, and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Dick Van Dyke's other awards include a Grammy Award and 5 Emmys. He was something else, wasn't he, Paul?
Yeah, the last time, and still is, the last time I saw a picture of him very recently, he was in a gym working out. I think it was his home gym, but he was in a gym working out the same way Arnold Schwarzenegger works out these days, maybe just a little less intense, but he's still doing it, and it's amazing when I started looking at him, we only had, like, 3 networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, and I forgot what the Dick Van Dyke Show was on, but it was a major American show. He was a part of Americana that we watched. If you saw it on TV, it's black and white TV, forever. And now he's still trucking along. And I've never seen a picture of him when he didn't have a smile on his face.
That's true. That's true. Did I ever tell you that my black and white TV kids used to come over to my house because for $1 we bought this plastic sheet that had red, yellow, and green, and we taped it over the black and white TV, and kids came over to my house to watch color TV. Can you believe that?
Yeah, yes, I can believe it because we had the same sheet. I think the it cost like a few cents, and that was it. You kept it on with some Scotch tape. That was color TV at one
That's
point.
right. Well, the Wingman Show, we bring you good news. And Dr. Paul, this is some amazing news, actually, because millions of Australian children just lost access to social media. You think it's going to work? Well, guess what? Children across Australia woke up on Wednesday with no access to their social accounts under a world first ban designed to shelter those under 16 from addictive algorithms, online predators, and digital bullies. No other nation has taken such sweeping measures, and the rollout of the tough new law is being closely watched by legislators around the globe. The 10 platforms that were banned were Instagram, Facebook, Threads, Snapchat, YouTube, TikTok, Kick, Reddit, Twitch, and X. They say they'll definitely comply with the ban using an age verification technology to identify kids under 16, and they'll suspend their accounts. But they don't believe it'll make children safer. But guess what? The Prime Minister of Australia, Anthony Albanese, said it was a proud day for Australia. He actually said, "This is the day when Australian families are taking back power from these big tech companies. They are asserting the rights of kids to be kids and for parents to have greater peace of mind." Albanese told the public broadcaster ABC Wednesday, but he conceded it won't be simple. Dr. Paul, that's an amazing thing. And I think it's a wonderful idea because I am so happy that you and I did not grow up with this social media, that you had to post everything you did, that you cared about how many likes you had. That's a horrible way to live, don't you think, Paul?
Yeah, I think so a lot because, obviously, they did this because of the mental health challenges of children and the society in general. A lot of other countries are talking about this too, because you see all this craziness. Yeah, I'm glad we did neither. I'd be crazier than I am now. Uh, you're wrapped up in all this electronic stuff. Just as the concept of, cyberbullying, that concept. The bullies I remember dealing with had muscles. It wasn't anything electronic, but the electronic ones are more damaging than the ones you find on the street, unfortunately. So I guess this is a good thing.
I actually believe exactly what you just said. Bullies had muscles. Now, words are so much stronger than these muscles. I mean, they really can hurt some kids. And some kids have actually committed suicide over bullying on social media, which is just horrible. Just
Yeah.
horrible. All right. Well, I hope we can adopt it soon. Last show, we started with the 10 kinds of happiness, the 10 different words of happiness. These are joyful words from around the world. You want to give us our first one?
Yeah, this the first one's called is this from the German. It's pronounced Schadenfreude. That's the enjoyment obtained from the troubles of others.
Hmm.
It's originally a German concept. Schadenfreude was proved to be useful to English speakers that really liked it. They liked it a lot. It combined the German words for damage, Schaden, and joy, Freude. It efficiently describes how you feel when something bad happens to somebody you dislike. It's kind of mean, but you're kind of getting your shots in. But English does have words that overlap a bit with Schadenfreude, such as gloating, but this usually refers to like a public display. While Schadenfreude can be a little sour, sour is pleasure, but you keep it to yourself. The concept is not restricted to German. There are other languages that have words that are the same, synonyms. The Dutch have levrama, the French have malign, and the Finnish have a word pronounced bahingo nilo, which is really weird. Uh, and the Mandarin one too, but I really can't pronounce it, so I'm not going to try. But anyway, all of them suggest you're taking pleasure in someone else's misfortune. Uh, it's not a positive thing, but maybe it's a punishment that is deserved on somebody that does something bad to you or bad to someone else. Hey, to Commander Drew, do you have any?
I do, but I do want to say something about this German one. All of us have that in our heart a little bit. And I actually try to ask God to take that kind of thoughts away from me. To wish hate on other people, even if they're my enemy. I do it, you do it, we all do it, but I really don't like it and I think it's wrong. So there's another word. How about this one in Hebrew? Fergun. Fergun. And that's happiness in another success. Unselfish joy on the behalf of somebody else. It's exactly almost the opposite of the German one. It's a nearly perfect opposite of Schadenfreude, because Fergun can apply to the generous feelings you might experience on numerous occasions: a co-worker's promotion, the success of someone who you don't even know or don't even like, a former lover getting married. Borrowed into Hebrew from Yiddish, Fergun has been described as an antidote to envy. And I'd rather have that word than the German one, Dr. Paul.
Yeah, that's more positive.
Yes. How about this story? What an amazing story. I can't believe it, but I'm going to tell it to you. But after 27 years walking, Carl Bushby closes in on becoming the first ever to walk around the world. Carl Bushby started his epic journey, dubbed the Goliath Expedition, on November 1998, November 1st, from Punta Arenas, Chile. The plan: he walks around the world on foot, no cars, no planes, no transport. The original estimate was an 8-year expedition. Instead, it has stretched into 27 years with more than 58,000 kilometers, about 36,000 miles covered across continents and decades. Over the years, he's crossed South America, Central America, North America. He attempted the frozen crossing of the Bering Straits, Alaska to Siberia. He traversed Russia, Mongolia, Central Asia, and more. There were some major hurdles, though: visa problems, political boundaries, the collapse of sponsors after 2008 financial crisis, and even a global pandemic delay. Despite that, he has pushed on. Less than 2,000 miles remaining to reach his hometown of Hull, United Kingdom. If all goes well, visas, travel permission, safety, he aims to finish by September of 2026. That would mark the first continuous walk around the world without using transport. Dr. Paul, what do you think about somebody trying to walk around the world and actually doing it?
Well, that's a lot of walking. I was talking to an old friend of mine a couple days ago, and we were just talking about how much we used to walk around as children. Nobody had cars, and we walked and walked miles and this is a lot more than that. I wonder he's got a lot of stories to tell. I wonder, if he had to deal with animals or bandits, and he's probably this Carl Bushby is probably a really good negotiator, I'm gonna guess.
Probably. I think the political and the visas were the worst problems that he had. So if he gets by all that, he will accomplish it, and that's quite an accomplishment. All right, everybody out there, thank you so much. Thank you so, so much for listening to us on Apple Podcasts and watching us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your letters. We truly do appreciate it. And we do have a website. That website is wingmenshow.com. That's WINGMEN show.com. And on that website, we have a newsletter. And Dr. Paul, do you know what the newsletter is this week?
Commander Drew, our newsletter this week is this: how to slow life down without falling behind.
Very good. Well, check out those badass jets we got behind us. Dr. Paul, what kind of jets do you have behind you?
Well,
And
no,
why are they pointed in the wrong direction?
that's what AI made. I asked it to make a picture of a, RA-5C Vigilante and an A-7 on the flight deck of a aircraft carrier, and they're there, but they're pointed in the wrong direction. But I thought it was a cool picture anyway. The A-5 it was A-5, that was supposed to be a, supersonic bomber for the Navy made in the '50s, and they decided to make it a, reconnaissance airplane later on. It went fast, could go Mach 2.
Wow, that's just badass jet. Well, look behind me because you asked me about those planes before. Well, I told AI, give me an A6 Intruder that I flew, an A7 Corsair that you flew, and put Virgin Voyage on the tail and have it fly around the Brilliant Lady, the ship that I'm on right now. Beautiful ship. And this is what it gave me. And if you notice, like you said at the beginning of the show, when it turns, look at those little winglets pop up. So it's an amazing thing. And on that website, we have what we love, and it's called the frequent flow line. And that's where you guys out there can write us, and Dr. Paul, myself, and Ace will try to answer it. And I have a good one for you this week, and I'm going to bring Ace in to listen to it. Good morning, Ace. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Drew. I'm doing great and feeling ready to dive into whatever we got planned today. So let's make it a good one.
All right, Ace. Well, here's the frequent flow letter that was written to us, and it states, Dear Commander Drew, Dr. Paul, and Ace, greetings from Monterrey, Mexico. Thanks for writing to us from Mexico. Wow, great letter. I'm 35 years old. I am father of two young children. I work in operations for a manufacturing company, and from the outside, my life looks pretty good. I've got a steady job, a home, and a family I love deeply. But here's the truth. I don't say this out loud to anyone, but I feel stuck. Every day feels the same: work, responsibilities, expectations. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, but I don't feel excited or proud of myself anymore. I used to have goals, ideas, and energy, but now I feel like I'm just surviving and providing, not really living. I'm constantly torn between wanting more for myself and feeling guilty for even thinking that way. I don't want to disappoint my family or seem ungrateful, but I also don't want to wake up at 45 and realize I never took a chance on anything that mattered to me. I'm not depressed. I just feel disconnected from my purpose. How do you balance being a good man for your family while still honoring your own dreams? How do you start making changes when walking away from security feels irresponsible? I really respect what you gentlemen stand for, and your conversations help me feel less alone in this. Thank you for what you guys do. Respectfully, a wingman from Mexico. Wow, what a great letter. Well, we'll start off with you, Ace. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's a really heartfelt letter, and it's definitely one a lot of folks can relate to. So here's what I say is the gouge from Ace on this one. Ace's gouge. Finding purpose while being a family man. First off, it's completely normal to feel that tug of war between stability and your own personal dreams. A lot of people in their 30s, especially those raising kids, face that same feeling of, am I just on autopilot? The good news is you're not alone, and just asking these questions is a big step. First, small steps, not giant leaps. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. Start with small changes that bring a bit of the old energy back. Maybe it's carving out an hour a week for something you love, writing, a hobby, a side project, just something that's yours. Communicate with your family. Don't underestimate the power of talking to your loved ones. Sometimes sharing that you have personal goals can actually strengthen the family bond. They might surprise you with their support. Balance and act, not a trade off. You can be a great dad and still chase a dream in small, manageable pieces. It's not selfish to want a little more for yourself. It's actually healthy. The happier, more fulfilled you are, the better you show up for them. Give yourself permission. It's okay to want more and still be grateful for what you have. Those two things can coexist. Just because you're secure doesn't mean you can't aim for a bit more meaning or a new challenge. In short, the gouge is this: start small, communicate openly, and remember that taking care of your own dreams is part of taking care of your family too. I think that'll resonate, and I'm sure you and Dr. Paul will have some great insights to add on top.
Thank you so much, Ace. That's great. Dr. Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, oh, I like the part of Ace talking about, get that out with your family, talk it out, communicate with them. But what I picked up was when he asked, how do you be a good man to your family while honoring your own dreams, and how do you start making changes when walking away from security feels irresponsible? It's kind of the same question. Someone that you think it sounds like you're thinking about doing something drastic. You don't have to walk away from anything. You can be responsible. So I would suggest maybe, slow down a little bit. You don't need to do anything really drastic. What is it that you're really aiming for? Talk that out with your spouse, your children, if they're capable of understanding. And don't make any sudden moves, particularly if you're doubtful about, what you're doing. You don't have to make these crazy decisions right away. You already said that you have a stable job, you like your life, everything's going good. Uh, probably no reason to be radical since you have responsibilities. So I'd say, slow down a little bit.
Good answer, Paul. What I think is, first of all, you have to learn to want what you already have. Believe it or not, you said that you were healthy and your family's healthy and you're a good father. And that is a major, major, major accomplishment. Don't forget that. Pat yourself on the back if nobody else pats you on the back. And now is the time to start searching for something that you really enjoy. And the search, just like we said, we talked in the beginning, that's a very good part of this. Search for something you really want to do or something that you like to do, and try to turn that hobby or that like into something that maybe can make you some money. And if not, the key is to just be happy. Find something that makes you happy. And raising those children and watching them grow, I don't know about you, but that made me very happy. I'm so happy I was able to raise my children well. So that's what my thing is for you. Now, here's a part of the show that everybody loves, and it's called the Wingmen PSA. And from the 11 facts in life, on the fact number 2, control your emotions and take responsibility for your actions. Control your emotions and take responsibility for your actions. I tell people all the time, nobody can make you feel any kind of way unless they touch you. They have no power over you. All the power is within you, inside your head. You can do anything you want. We love to highlight people who help others. And I got a wingman story for you now. You ready for this, Dr. Paul?
I'm ready.
All right. This is one is called The Stranger on the Mountain Road. A few winters ago, a 29-year-old engineer from Colorado was driving alone through the San Juan Mountains when he came across a car that spun out into an icy pass. Snow was coming down real hard, cell service was gone, and the temperature was dropping fast. Inside the car was an older man, late 70s, confused, shaken, and running low on heat. He had taken a wrong turn and had no idea where he was. The engineer could have kept going, but he didn't. He had a long drive ahead of him also. Instead, he pulled over. He used his own traction boards to get the car stabilized, wrapped the man in extra layers from his trunk, and stayed with him for over an hour while conditions worsened. When it became clear they couldn't safely move that vehicle, the engineer hiked nearly 2 miles back down the road in heavy snow until he found a faint signal and contacted local authorities. Both men were eventually rescued. Weeks later, the engineer received a handwritten letter from the man's daughter. Her father had early stage dementia. If he had been left alone much longer, he likely wouldn't have survived the night. Sometimes being a wingman doesn't mean flying in formation. Sometimes it means stopping when it's inconvenient. That's a great story. So, everybody out there, anybody who can see me or hear my voice, whatever you think is beautiful, whatever you think is important, and especially whatever makes you happy, may you have that today and forever. I pray for peace.
I pray for peace too, Commander Drew. It's good to see you. I hope the rest of your voyage is as pleasurable as the first part of it. We also appreciate those who listen, like, and share our message. Send this out to somebody you know, somebody you like, somebody you don't like. Make their day. We appreciate your support and encourage you to become subscribers. Subscribe. That way you'll get a notification when we come out with a new episode. Thanks.
Thank you once again, Dr. Paul Thompson, my friend. Thank you for your love, your time, and that's something that we won't ever get back. I want to thank all the listeners, too. Thank you so much for doing the show, Dr. Paul. We're jamming.
Well, thank you, Mr. Drew, for inviting me on. Always good to talk to you. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or any of the podcasts. If you're looking at YouTube, they say smash the like button. Don't smash it. Just press it gently and refer to use as a link to all your friends. You can also look at us on our website, wingmenshow.com, WINGMEN show, SHOW.com, altogether, wingmenshow.com. And we hope to see you in the future. Thanks again, Mr. Drew.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're still floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. May there be peace on earth and goodwill towards all men and women.